From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Well, the countdown is on for NASA's first crewed mission around the moon since 1972, with the highly anticipated Artemis II launch targeted for Wednesday evening. With a historic flight on the pad at the Kennedy Space Center, forecasters will be watching the weather as closely as the rocket. AccuWeather's Lydia Burrows said that the weather seems to be cooperating for a Wednesday launch. Showers from earlier in the day may be lingering in the area into the evening, but the risk for rain or lightning during the launch window is low. There is an 80% chance of favorable weather for the launch, with cumulus clouds, thick clouds, and strong winds being the main concerns. Liftoff is scheduled for 6:24 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time tonight, and the launch window will remain open for 2 hours. If the weather is questionable early in the window, NASA can wait for improvements before deciding whether to call off the attempt. Lightning is a common threat to rocket launches in Florida, a state notorious for thunderstorms. Even if lightning is not detected nearby, a rocket can sometimes trigger a strike under certain atmospheric conditions. One famous example came during Apollo 12 in 1969, when the rocket was struck shortly after liftoff, but the mission continued. Winds are another key factor. Strong winds can place added stress on a rocket as it pushes through the lower atmosphere, and cloud rules can also ground a launch if conditions do not meet safety thresholds. Additionally, high levels of solar activity can keep a rocket grounded. If the launch is delayed because of weather or a technical issue, NASA has backup opportunities through Monday, April 6th. If the mission does not lift off by then, the next available launch date is April 30th. Burrows said that sporadic thunderstorms are possible throughout the rest of the week into Monday and may cause further delays should a later launch window be needed. However, winds remain light, with highs in the 80s and lows in the 60s. Now, Artemis II will be the first crewed flight for NASA's Space Launch System rocket and the Orion spacecraft. The mission will carry NASA astronauts Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Koch, as well as Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. The four will embark on a 10-day journey around the moon before returning to Earth. If all goes well, Artemis II will set the stage for Artemis III in 2027, which NASA says will test rendezvous and docking capabilities between Orion and commercial spacecraft needed for future moon landings. Artemis IV is set to be the first moon landing since Apollo 17 in 1972 and is scheduled for 2028. A massive dust storm, also known as a haboob, swept across the Sahara Desert from western Algeria into Mauritania, Morocco, western Sahara, and the Canary Islands on March 30th. The dust stretched for more than 1,000 miles. As meteorologists observed the dust storm from space via weather satellites, social media users captured the incoming dust storm on camera. One video showed a thick wall of dust and sand moving toward a resident of the town of Tindouf near the Mauritanian, Western Saharan, and Moroccan borders. While this storm did not make it too far off the coast, significant amounts of dust can drift westward from Africa across the Atlantic beginning in May. This can inhibit tropical storm formation or the strengthening of an existing system because the dusty air has about 50% less moisture than the typical tropical atmosphere. Strong winds in the dust layer can also substantially increase the vertical wind shear in and around the storm environment, potentially disrupting any storm that forms. That's all for now. You can find more regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.